Today, I have a very special video for you, which is 4 different planners, each giving you their best financial advice. So a quick tip from 4 different financial planners. These are friends of mine here in the Boston area. I was fortunate enough to get together with them, and they were kind enough to get on video to deliver some of their best tips and advice for you. These are all members of the Garrett Planning Network, so they're fee-only financial advisors. Let's check out their best tips.
My number one tip for a prospective client would to be just get started. You know, a lot of times people fear the advice that they're getting. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds impossible to get there, but they really underestimate the value of momentum. And if they just get started and fight the negative inertia that they have going, just start small, automate it, get going, it can be really powerful how it compounds and builds up. So, you know, my number one tip would just be start now.
I think the thing that I most often say to people is don't invest in something you don't understand. And that has a few different aspects. One is often people invest in mutual funds and they don't really know what it costs them to invest. They don't know what the fund costs. They don't know what the person who's selling it to them is charging them. And that's one of the few things you can control. So understanding what it costs to invest in something. The other thing is understand what can go wrong with an investment. Some things have greater risks than others. Some have risks that are related to the direction of interest rates. Some are influenced by, if it's a bond, the people that you're effectively lending money to might go broke and then they don't pay you back. So understand how the investment generates a return and understand what might not work. I think those would be the kinds of things that you think about when you understand what you're investing in.
One piece of advice I would have is when you think about investing, is focus on prudent risk. A lot of people, you know, they're afraid of the stock market and they think they're better off keeping everything in cash. You know, in some ways that's more riskier. The way I think about it is every investor needs to be taking some level of risk. Really the guideline for me is to be prudent about it, not to go off the charts one way or the other. I compare it to, I've thought about in terms of one of my favorite hobbies, which is hiking in the mountains in New Hampshire. And anytime I go for a hike, I understand there's risk. I could fall, I could break an ankle. And I try to be prepared and I always just think about when I'm hiking, being prudent in the risks that I take. And I apply that to my career as well as to my approach to investing. So, you know, you have to take risk. You know, you're not going to get to be able to retire without it, but you just have to be sensible about it.
I'm going to give you 3, Mike. Number 1, spend less than you make. All this other stuff doesn't matter if you don't spend less than you make. You can talk about how to buy a house, how to invest things. If you don't have anything to use to buy the house or to invest, you can't do it. So spend less than you make. It's not a tough concept. What you make, what you spend. This number needs to be less. And there's only 2 things you can do. If you have capabilities that you're not maximizing and you can make more money, go try to maximize that. Otherwise, you got to spend less. So keep saving it. Number 2, investing is not a competition. Investing is a discipline. It's something you use to your benefit. So don't try to beat the market. Figure out what in the market can work for you. Let it work for you over time. And don't get drawn in by all these people who think they know what the market's going to do, what's going to happen in the future, and so on. If they knew, A, they probably wouldn't tell you. And if I knew, I wouldn't be here talking to this video. Number 3, don't buy investment products from insurance companies. They are overpriced, overcomplicated, and what I have found, the term variable annuity, if you ever hear those 2 words in succession, go the other way. They are very complex vehicles, and they are built to serve the insurance company and not the investor. That would be my number 1, 2, and 3 pieces of advice.
Now that is some great information all condensed in just 3 or 4 minutes. Just getting started, of course, is super important. Taking the risks, but prudent risks, understanding the risk. We all have to take risks to get where we want to be in life, but understanding those risks and making sure they're prudent risks for you and your family. Saving more than you spend, of course, is super important or you can't get anywhere. Investing is a discipline. It's something that you have to do all the time and stick with it. It's not a competition between you and the neighbors or anybody else. It's just for you. Are you getting to the place where you want to be? And buy insurance from insurance companies, not other products. They're really great at insurance, and so stick with the insurance from those insurance companies. Thank you so much to Chuck and Tom and Justin and David for getting on camera and delivering their best financial advice straight to you. Now, do you like these types of videos? I can try to get more tips and advice from different advisors. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you really enjoyed. Thanks again to those guys and have an awesome day.
Thanks for asking, Mike. You better start. I can't.